Imagine walking into a room and turning everything into minced beef. That's Boulder Druid. And now you're going to say, Pony, surely this is going to be bad against bosses. No. Because you're permanently infinite overpowering with the boulder. Since once it's cast with an overpower, the whole rotation of the boulder around you for its lifetime, every single hit is going to be overpower. How does that work? And how far can this build reach? Currently it's the #1 in the Druid pit leaderboard, and I've already cleared a pit 95, while not even 12 out of 12 masterworked, and my pen's not even being ancestral. There's room for improvement. Step number 1, use an aspect to turn Boulder into a core skill so you can spam it. Step number 2, the Dolmen Stone will have Boulder rotate around you if you cast a Hurricane before, and you can have a maximum of 10 boulders rotating around you being a Meatgrinder. And for each of those 10 boulders, damage is increased by 30%. Another 300% more damage? Don't mind if I do. And now comes the interesting part. Hunter's Zenith Ring. Every 30 seconds you spend in an animal form, your next core skill is guaranteed to overpower. Boulder is now a core skill. Boulder will overpower, and not only overpower, it will also critical strike and deal another 60% increased damage. And if we shapeshift forms, that cooldown of 30 seconds is reduced by 2 seconds. Now the interesting part is, Dolmen makes the boulder rotate. Boulder is a core skill. Core skill will overpower. And if the core skill overpowers, the whole rotation of the boulder, while it's going on around us, that whole time he's in overpower, not on a single hit. No. The whole rotation, like it just keeps rotating and it keeps overpower. And you can have 10 of those. 10 of those that do overpowers because you have more sources of overpower, which would also be your provocation skill. When you remain in werebear form for at least X seconds, your next non-defensive skill will overpower. Ergo, the next overpower for Boulder. And usually, this is only 3 out of 3 skill points, therefore capped at 12 seconds. But you can actually get 4 skill points in that. There's a new armor, it's called the Shroud of the False Death. Now, the main effect is kind of useless. If you haven't dealt damage, in the last 2 seconds, gain stealth and movement speed. Okay, fine. It does all stats max life, but most importantly is the intrinsic stat of the armor +1 to all passives. And I mean, you might not know this, but Druid passives are OP. This turns our provocation from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. Yep, easy peasy. And then everything gets 1 more point. Earth skills deal more damage. You deal more damage when you're fortified. Bonus critical strike damage against poison enemies. That's another 10% just like that. Held down here, quick shift for swapping forms goes up to 42% in total. You're getting more nature magic damage. Your earth skills do damage against vulnerable. Everything essentially gets a bonus rank. After casting a companion skill, your next core or wrath skill damage and critical strike chance are increased by 20 and up to 60%. Thank you very much. There's another piece of equipment needed to make this work, and that's Vasily's Prayer, because this one will turn your earth skills into werebear skills. Ergo, if I do the boulder, I turn into a bear. That's important for the whole shapeshifting thing, because now I have claw as a basic attack, then I boulder, claw, boulder, and I get all my shapeshifting bonuses running already. And then at some point, I only every 6 seconds have to do claw to do the werewolf, and then boulder to go werebear, which then with the Zenith Ring, which set swap between animal forms, 2 seconds cooldown reduction on more overpowers, just works perfect. How does the gameplay loop look right now? First, activate Hurricane, then spam boulders. Into Petrify to get your resource back up, more boulders. As you go then for Claw, werewolf form, back into werebear form with boulders. And then you just keep progressing through your enemies with claw, boulder, claw, boulder, claw, boulder. Or to be more precise, claw, triple boulder, claw, triple boulder. And then every time poison creeper is up, use poison creeper to make your boulders do more damage. Because again, if the clarity is active from casting the poison creeper, the whole boulder for the whole rotation that will potentially overpower is then also having the bonus damage times the bonus overpower, going completely nuts. Use Bulwark whenever you run into a CC effect to get your barrier back up, since we're permanently healing for using our nature skills, and that just keeps us topped up perfectly. My life bar is essentially not moving, and I'm sitting at a grand total of 62,000 life. Again, missing quite some pieces to have Probably 70 to 75,000 life. First skills, then Spirit Boons, Gear, and Paragon Board. We do Claw into Enhanced Claw, and technically you could go for Fierce Claw for the poison, but that's what we get the Creeper for. We're not playing any core skills, but what we want to have is 1 point into Heart of the Wild for the Spirit increase, and then your core skills cost more Spirit, but also do more damage. Again, core skill, in this case, also Boulder because of the aspect. No other point is being put. Predatory Instinct and also Digitigrade Gate. Oh, gee, I don't know how to pronounce this. Sorry, I'm German. Is from your items. Then Bulwark to make yourself unstoppable. No more points, nothing needed. Get the backlash going and put as many points into Ancestral Fortitude as you need. I have one single one in plus 1 passive point, but I don't even need that one single point because my resistances are taken care of. Then the Poison Creeper with a bit enhanced duration, and we want Feral Aptitude for the bonus damage, and especially Clarity, as many points as possible. Now to the interesting part. 1 single point into Hurricane, then the Slow, and enemies affected by Hurricane deal less damage, which is fantastic. Every point in Boulder. I have 19 out of 5 with an aspect where 24 out of 5. I'm missing core skills on my gloves. You can get up to 30 ranks into Boulder. And that's what you really want, because more ranks is just going to multiply the damage like there's no tomorrow. And while we have any Fortify, Boulder has more crit chance, trying to get Boulder to 100% crit. At least 2 points in Crushing Earth, plus 4 from the items, and then Stone Guard with a full-on 3 in Mending for the bonus max life, and another one from the passive for even more max life, with Provocation going on for that Overpower. You need to max out Petrify, and then 3 points Resonance, 3 points Disaster, and 3 points Defiance. 0 points into Circle of Life because it's enough. We're done already. That one is more than enough to keep us healed. Max out Catastrophe because every 8 seconds we are actually casting Petrify. Then we want Heightened Senses and as many points in Quick Shift as possible over items. I sadly only have plus 4. You can get many more. I'll get to that in the gear section. Lastly, yours in Strength, which is insane. We get 30% more life, fantastic. If we then go into Werebear form, and that's why we turn into Werebear with a Basili's Prayer, and then while healthy, we deal more damage, and another 45% increase overpower damage. Gear looks incredible with 3 mythics. That being said, the Doombringer is not even the best item to put in the slot there. It might be better to use a 2-handed weapon. Let's talk about the other stuff first. Hunter Zenith. My first one I get over Gambling Rings. You want the Greater Affix on Quick Shift. I get it on Predatory Instinct, which will give me more crit. And in this case, I get another 20% crit chance against close enemies, which kind of brings my Boulder up to 100% crit chance with all the things we get going on. It's not the best, but it kind of works. Most important though is to have the 60% on the Hunter Zenith. You don't want anything under 60% to really go and have it pop off. Then we get the Dolmen Stone with a greater affix on nature magic cooldown reduction. I would rather go for a greater affix on my Wrath skills, as I do have enough cooldown reduction to have everything always up, including the Petrify, because of my Spirit Boons. Spirit Boons has a timestamps, we'll get to that. Here, you also need the 30%, and that's why I have this one over any other one. Sure, did I have one with a greater affix in Wrath skills? Yes, even in Crushing Earth. But as long as I'm not having the 30%, it's not worth it. This is where your damage goes bonkers, because we have 10 boulders and a 300% damage increase for every consecutive boulder cast. To the boots. With ranks into Boulder, armor, and willpower, it would be better if that willpower was actually maximum life, as every point of maximum life gets multiplied roughly by 150 to 160% right now. So yeah, 600 max life is way more than 600 max life. In this case, you need Hurricane duration and then movement speed. I went for the Gade, as I in between just Claw to then go into Werewolf form, get the speed boost, go Boulder, Claw, and it just helps me to zoom through. The aspect is, while Hurricane is active, gain 5 ranks to your shapeshifting skills. Wait a second. Isn't my Boulder now a Werebear skill? Ergo, another 5 ranks just like that, up to 24. Pens are a sad lowdown. We get the resistance to all elements, max life, willpower. You need the total armor, and then I tempered Hurricane duration. It could also be Petrified duration, as we have enough Hurricane duration. You just need to get a longer Hurricane duration than the cooldown is to always have it up. We're playing the Exploiters aspect as we crowd control enemies persistently with the Petrify and the Slow from the Hurricane. Then the boulders are smashing them, and they become unstoppable. We get 40% more damage. works splendid well against bosses as well. Gloves are sadness, but what they need is up to a 60% chance to make enemies vulnerable. That's needed. Then ranks to Boulder would be good, or core skill ranks in this case. Maximum life, 100%. Petrify duration, thumbs up. Then we're tempering Earth critical strike chance to truly get us to this 100% crit chance on the Boulder. And the most important aspect, Boulder is now also a core skill, costs 40 spirit to cast, dealing 120% of normal damage. 130% roll would even increase my damage further. Chest piece would be the Shroud of the False Death. It is absolutely amazing. Not mandatory to play, but certainly boosting everything to work even better. If I would say, is it the most important unique for this one? No. You would actually want the Starless guys over the Shroud, but the Shroud makes everything just work better, work harder, work easier. Vasili's Prayer, the greater affix, needs to be on the willpower. That's where it goes crazy. If you get the greater affix on that one, and especially double masterwork as we have, your willpower will just go through the roof. I mean, we're just moving from 2,000 up to 2,890. Good thing is the fortify percentage on the skill doesn't matter. We fortify enough like that. And currently we're using cast a skill with a cooldown for 20% more max life on top of all the max life we have, because more max life is more damage. The other rune we're using is cast a non-channel core skill to invoke the Necromancer's Decrepify. Why the Decrepify? It's a 10% life execution. Technically, you could also try to channel the Vortex that we're essentially spamming cooldowns, and then suddenly we do get Vortex to pull everything together. But personally, the Decrepify has felt very good, especially when pit pushing. Then we get the Ring of Starless Skies to reduce the cost of the Boulder that we're essentially able to spam it harder. Also, the 5 ranks to core skills does help tremendously. Bonus attack speed so we can cast the Boulder a bit faster just adds to it. Now, again, the Ring of Starless Skies is not 100% needed to make this work. You could have a normal ring with resource cost reduction and a resource cost reduction temper. What is very important on your offhand or on your two-handed weapon, to have the lucky hit chance up to a 15% chance to restore primary resource. This one, paired together with the Petrify and the Claw, more or less has you always topped up, or you just claw boulder, claw boulder, claw boulder, claw boulder, but it just gives you that resource back very nicely. You want maximum life, willpower, very important, and then chance for boulder projectiles to cast twice. This is interesting because if a boulder gets cast twice, that's an Overpower Boulder. Then you get 2 Overpower Boulders, and it's easier to have the 10 boulders up at the same time. That's why a two-handed weapon might be better, because you can get this masterwork up to 90% to then always cast double boulders just to come faster online. That being said, I have not noticed yet any downside of playing it as a one-handed weapon. With the Fortify aspect, if we have maximum Fortify, 60% damage multiplier, we always have maximum Fortify. And I am currently playing the Doombringer for that 85.8% bonus maximum life. As I'm already sitting at 54,000 max life, we get 30% more from our key passive, 16% more from that one other passive, then 85.8% maximum life from the Doombringer, 20% from our glyph, 20% from our potion. Yeah, every point of max life just gets multiplied up so hard it's crazy. I mean, I'm sitting in town basically at 18,000 and then at 34,000, and that gets multiplied up even harder with everything. But a two-handed weapon would also make this aspect go up to 150% damage multiplier based on your Fortify. Max Fortify, 150% bonus damage, plus the two-handed weapon making your boulder anyways hit harder from a base standpoint and then multiply up good as well. Not sure if the Doombringer will turn out to be the better thing. You just have 2 options to choose from. For the Spirit Boons, we're choosing 15% reduced damage from elites. Kind of nifty. Could technically move this over to gain 14 maximum spirit, that you have more total spirit that you could restore with all the things you're doing, because honestly that 15% damage reduction I'm not feeling, considering that we do have the Doombringer with that bonus damage reduction. So in this case, Gift of the Stack is going to be better. Then we get another 20% max life bonus, and we get 30% critical strike damage. Pretty insane. Love it. On top, pack leader, critical strikes have up to a 25% chance to reset the cooldown, to get clarity more often, to get the damage multiplier, to get clarity, to get the damage, and so on. Just spam away your creeper. Now there is Obsidian Slam, which gives you every 10th kill your next earth skill to overpower, which technically gives you more overpowers. But if you're pushing the pit later, every 10th skill takes quite a while. Infernal Horde, Undercity, Hell Tides, fantastic. I choose to actually go for Calm Before the Storm. That has me get some good cooldown reduction on my Petrify to truly have it every 8 seconds, since that gives us another 20% damage multiplier. Would be sad to miss out on that if you could get it that easy. And as a Merc, we're playing Variana for that bonus movement speed that Druid never feels slow, and we're practically zooming through the area, plus then double attack speed from her abilities to pop off even harder. And right now I had Rahir with shield charge, which gives us bonus fortify. Honestly, it doesn't hurt. Just have like really the maximum fortifying. Could also go for the crater every 22 seconds, which actually pulls enemies in. That works quite well with what we're doing, so probably going to give Crater a try and see how that works. Now for the Paragon board, I'm going to have a 50, 100, 150, 200 point version for you. So let's head over to the planner. In the planner, we get the Mythic endgame version, the budget version, then 50 Paragon points, 100 and 150 Paragon points. And your first goal should always be reach the legendary nodes. After spending 75 spirits, you'll deal 40% more damage. Easy. That is super simple to knock out. You get some maximum life. We get some elemental resistance. 50 points, very well spent. Glyph activated? Nah. This is always more damage in the beginning. Yes, the Headhunter will stay here, and later you can fill out all the willpower you want, but that happens at the very end. Getting Headhunter boosted up is literally after you have every glyph activated and every legendary node done, then you can go for Headhunter. And with 100 points, we activate Earthen Devastation to then also get ourselves the damage to crowd controlled enemies to actually boost the Earthen Devastation, damage reduction and resistance to all elements with more maximum life and armor, which helps us then to move into the Heightened Malice board for even more damage with the poison around, damage reduction, life and healing received. And up here we can activate the Dominate glyph already. And now I've seen a lot of people be confused. How do I transition from this to the full version? What you're going to do is you're going to continue from the Heightened Malice into the Survival Instincts to get the next legendary node activated, and then knock out every glyph afterwards to get them going. 25 out of 25, 25 out of 25. Later, 200 Paragon points, you're going to reset the whole thing you got and then follow the exact same path upwards, just without fully fleshing out your glyphs. So not 105 out of 40, nah. You're going to take the 40 out of 40 and you're going to take the 25 out of 25 for the dexterity. And as you then keep getting more Paragon points, it's always adding to the glyphs to make them more powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, do I have you convinced on the Meatgrinder Boulder Druid smashing everything into pieces? If you're now looking for more Season 6 tips on things you did not know and grind you have to do, enjoy and have a fantastic good day. Take care.